Hello, my name is Ejike and thanks for stopping by. So this video is about the events of this week and how it's affected my writing. Okay, so in my last clip, I mentioned how an incident last week inspired an idea for my novel. Okay, and then over the weekend, because of that incident, it led me to a YouTube clip / video called The Soul and the Afterlife. Where do we go from here? On Rabbi Friedman's channel. And this clip from this particular clip, The Soul and the Afterlife, where do we go from here? It provided a different and clearer perspective of an idea that had kind of been, you know, when you have like one of those things that just kind of at the back of your mind, but it's kind of there, but you don't really know how to approach it or do with it. Think of it like, you know, like whenever you have like a maths question and you know the formula that you need for that question, but there are so many nitbits and stuff in the question. So just having a formula for the question doesn't help you answer the question, because you need to actually understand the question for that maths question. So that was how the idea was before, where from the incident of last week, I had this formula, but I needed to, how I said, broaden it a bit into solving the question for the maths question per se. So whenever I watch this clip, the soul and the afterlife and where do we go from here, I felt like it kind of helped me see the steps I needed to go in writing the idea fully. So not only it kind of, it helped me see things I hadn't, helped me see the idea from a different perspective, which just helped me explain it in a more logical way, put it up, kind of thing. Because like what happened is, I was struggling to tackle or explain a particular idea in my novel, which looked at things. Well, it was kind of, without giving too much away, it was kind of to do with well, I suppose as the title of the clip says, the soul and the afterlife, but it was also trying to deal with you need to watch the clip. It probably help explain, and I'm trying to say stuff without actually diverging into the novel per se, like in full details, because I don't want to confuse you, I don't want to confuse me, I don't want to give too much away as well. But either way, that clip really helped me in how I say it, in explaining the idea a lot more logically, well, putting it to my novel. Because yes, I have an idea, but you can't just start off in the novel saying, oh yeah, this is the idea. The idea was kind of something that it needs to be in a story form. It needs to, how I say, blend well with the story that's already been set. And I felt like that clip just helped me see it from a particular perspective that will enable me to blend that particular idea nicely into the story, into the flow of the novel that I'm working on. That's what, yeah, it's the flow of the novel that I'm working on. So so after I watched that clip, I was so happy with it, so I then watched another clip on Rabbi Friedman's YouTube channel, and this was called "Here's What No One Told You About Adam and Eve," and bam, it hit me, because the first one helped me see the idea I was struggling with expressing or conveying, or conveying and blending nicely into the plot for my novel. And this second story just was like, wow, it was like, whoa, it was like a gift, because not only did it help me see the idea I was working with from a different perspective, it also helped me, it kind of gave me another idea, and also further inspired me on another route I could go with in the novel. Like technically technically after watching those two clips, I could see a light at the end of the tunnel, and the idea I was struggling with, not only did it now have wings and legs, but it now brought a friend. To the extent I was able to add two subplot ideas, and enhance and broaden the scope of two subplot ideas I was actually currently working with. So technically it's so now I have 5 clear possible subplots for my novel. So it's not all bad, not all great, but at least it's something. Like they are, it's like technically it pretty much means I have subplots, like 5 ideas with legs and wings, but in like stick. If you're drawing, you're drawing old school, the way stick. So you do the way that's the subplot, that's the head, and then that bit. But yeah, I mean, that's, I needed to be a lot more, how I say it, professional, because yes, the idea is that it has legs and stuff, but it's quite simplistic, which works. Now I just need to elaborate and make it a lot more, how I say it, pretty. So at least it's something. So that's one good thing happened this week from last week, which where I felt like I was pulling my hair out. And then however, unfortunately, I still have not found a clear inspirational idea for my villain. Unfortunately, no villain also makes it hard for me to have a hero in my novel. But I've been watching the news of late, so hopefully something will pop up to inspire me to write a villain. So you never know. However, a few posts on. However, luckily for me, I also stumbled across a few posts on a few literary and writers groups on social media, which sort of gave me an idea. Well, how I say it gave me an idea, or gave me more confidence in an idea that was kind of floating in my head. So one post on one of these social media accounts that I follow, which is like a writers, like those writers groups or social media accounts, it kind of wrote something along the lines of writers do every character as a main character, which I kind of touched upon in my previous clip, where it says because technically, where I kind of explain how in real life everybody is the main character of their own story. So by seeing that quote by these accounts I follow, it made me think, actually, so yeah, so there is some, how I say it, so that's idea floating wasn't just how I say it was a so the idea that was floating in my head actually had some solid backing to it, more or less, because I suppose if thinking of every character as the main character, yes, it might seem a bit more like hard work, but I feel that it does technically. So I suppose if you think every character as the main character, so technically any character could be the villain and any character could be the hero to some extent, because then every character is doing their own thing to survive in the story, like pretty much like in real life, everybody's doing their own thing to survive. So I'm not necessarily waiting, and they're not necessarily waiting on the hero or the main character to show up and save the day, because everyone's just doing their own thing. And plus, if every character thinks they are the main character or acts like they're the main character in the novel, it also gives me scope to develop and show growth in not just the main character, but other characters as well. So, and I can also use other characters as teaching instruments for the main character. So for the main character to learn from or evolve from, or so like everyone is doing in most characters are just doing their own thing. They're not just waiting for the main character to always save the day or show up, kind of thing. So I suppose in a way, the little child in me has always envisioned the main character as the hero, I suppose. But then, yeah, which is weird because I do read I have read books where the main character isn't the hero, and I've watched films where the main character isn't the hero. So there's enough to disprove this notion, and yet a little part of me still wants the main character to be the hero. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, but that's where I am with the novel at the moment. So with regards to time management, yeah, that was a problem last week and slightly bit of a problem this week, but we're getting there. And also getting the writing done. We're getting there. So I'm not gonna lie, it was a massive problem last week and also a problem this week. Like I am writing in my head, but I don't think that's that's not going to be useful because I actually need a pen to paper. But like I'm kind of still formulating. Like I have a wee board where I kind of any subplot or ideas, I put it down, like I divide. I could show you my board, but I have loads of personal stuff there, so not yet. But in the board, I kind of have the rough work bit. So any idea that comes to me, I just kind of write it down and then stick it there. And then I have the bit where I've got the themes that I'm hoping to convey or work on. I've then got a section for subplot A, subplot B, subplot C, subplot E, and then locations, characters, and villains. So the villains bit is the bit, for some reason, my brain seems to be obsessed with the villains bit and nothing's coming up. So I think I'm just going to just write the other bit, and hopefully whenever I'm editing it or maybe looking through it again, I might see a bit where I could put the villain to spice things up, but we'll see how it goes. So with regards to writing and time management of last week and a bit of this week, I would best describe it as chaos walking. Hence, I decided to put things in place to ensure I can definitely get some writing done per day. So what I decided to do is I decided to join an online writing session, which is called the Writers Hour, which is the London Writers Salon. I know it's ironic since the main reason I started this YouTube channel was to motivate me and keep me accountable to getting some writing done every week. Yeah. Well, in all fairness, this is all new to me, so I am hoping the more I do this, I'll get a routine that works. And once I get a routine that works, it's all plain sailing from there. So with regards to the Writers Hour session, I did the first one today, and I actually really enjoyed the first session of the Writers Hour with London's Writers Salon, which was pretty productive. Because it was very productive. I actually got stuff done. I suppose in a way, the whole community feeling kind of stayed focused and got some writing done, so I'm quite happy about it. I look forward to trying to do it at least. I definitely look forward to keeping that up. So I'm looking forward to using the service often, the Writers Hour service often, and at the moment I think it offers 4 slots of 1 hour writer session per day. Although I think probably I'm thinking I might be taking Saturday and maybe Sundays off, but at least with 4 sessions I actually at least get put in 1 hour worth of join them for 1 hour. But we'll see. We'll see how it build up. Might start off with just doing 1 session with them per day and hopefully build to 2 and maybe 3, 4. We'll see how it goes. But I really thought today's session was very productive for me. So that's one resource I'm using that I'm hoping would help me stay motivated and committed to this stuff. With regards to the short stories and flash fiction, which I mentioned in the previous clip, that's going a lot slower than I anticipated. I know. So I thought I might try and get some inspiration for that, or maybe how I say it, like, you know the way when you're in high school and you have an exam and you usually look at past papers to help you prepare for the exam. So I kind of thought of doing something similar. So what I did is I am currently reading the Brainpicker Prize anthology, the Brainpicker Prize, the wee book, to a 2018 book, which has a list of short stories, flash fiction, and poems that came first, second, third, and were shortlisted for it. So there are actually loads of good stories there and flash fiction. So I'm just reading that to try and give me some inspiration on this exercise. Because secondly, I'm doing the flash fiction and short stories it's like an exercise. You know the way you go to the gym, if you want to go do a marathon, you go to the gym and you exercise to get your body used to it. So I kind of feel like writing is like a skill that I need to keep exercising. I need to develop and improve on. And I thought that, yes, writing my novel is helping me exercise or develop that skill. But at the same time, I feel that sometimes, because I found this whenever I was in school, I always used to, there's this thing I do, which always worked for me, especially whenever I had loads of work to do, because I schooled in Nigeria before I came to the UK and schooled here as well. And I think in Nigeria we had like 15 subjects, and this was in high school there. Like we had 15 subjects, and each of these subjects were quite big. So well, it helped me stay on top of my studies and exams, and managing the the big 15 subjects to me was quite big. So how I managed to stay on top of it without losing my mind, which surprised I didn't, but anyway, was I would always try and find a link between each subject. So if I could link a topic or an idea in each subject, it made my revision a lot quicker or easier. Say, for example, because you notice some things actually, like in science, there's some concepts in chemistry which can be applied to or related to physics or biology. So I would tend to always try and group different topics in a subject together so that whenever I am reading for this subject, I then relate to the other one. It helps me remember the other topic in another subject. I know it sounds a bit confusing. Okay, a good example would be like, say I was reading for, say I was reading for, okay, say for example, I was reading for biology with regards to cells and the different functions of the different components of a cell and all the organelles and stuff like that. And then I was reading in physics about energy conversions and stuff like that. And I was reading chemistry about thermodynamics or something like that. Yes, they're all three subjects and three topics. But I would try and see a way I could, whenever I'm reading this subject, I can be able to draw on my knowledge from another topic in another subject. So, for example, with a cell, I'll be looking at all the different things the cell does, the components in the cell does. But then, what does the cell do? The cell does generate energy for the body. You have your ATP production and oxidation and all whatnot. Okay, and how does that link with regards to physics, with energy conversion? As they rightly said, energy can either be created or destroyed, but can transfer from one form to another. So in a way, I'm looking at the cells. The cell uses, so in, say for example, with respiration, you have your glucose, which is used by the body, and then broken down to different components, and then it produces energy, which is ATP. So if you go back to the physics bit, where energy can either be created or destroyed, but can transfer from one form to another, think of the glucose as the energy. Yeah? It cannot be created or destroyed, but it's transferred from one form to another. So the glucose is broken down, but technically it's transferred to a different form and it produces energy. And even when it's broken down, you have some byproducts. So it's not completely, it doesn't just disappear, it's transformed to a different form. So that is how I would try and relate different topics together. And with regards to the chemistry, well, glucose is a chemical. Well, it's a molecule, and you have your six carbons and stuff like that. So that is how I would always try and help myself in learning, in how I say shrinking down loads of stuff that I'm learning. It's like whatever I'm reading, I try and see if I can relate it to another topic or another subject. So in other sense, so that whenever I am reading that topic, it's like I'm also sort of remembering, or how I say, slightly revising another topic at the same time. Yes, it's a bit confusing, I know. But it worked for me back then and made it, I suppose it's kind of like, you ever hear of this story, this advice? Someone once told me that if you want to learn a topic, maybe you write that topic as a story. Because I found in high school that majority of the topics that I remembered is when a teacher told you a story about while doing that topic, because you would always remember the story, and if you remember the story, it will help you. It's almost like if you're going from A to B, you would probably use different landmarks to help you remember how to get from A to B. You'd be like, that's okay, so I go out, then there's a Tesco at that corner, and then I turn left at Mace, and I turn right at Morrison, stuff like that. So that's kind of similar to the analogy we're trying to see similarities between two or three different topics within different subjects, so that while I'm revising for one, it's like I'm making a story, but using information from three topics within three different subjects to make one story, which is easier for me to remember. or relate to, that can help me remember different things. So that's why this exercise with the short stories and flash fiction, because I'm thinking, yes, I'm writing all these stories and flash fiction, but I could also potentially draw inspiration or actually stuff from that in the novel, or I don't know, see how it goes. Still working on it. Anyway, so stuff that influenced me or inspired me this week. 2019 film called can't pronounce as well. Ad Astra. That's one featuring Brad Pitt where he goes to space. Really good film. Yeah, explain. Yeah, it's a good film. And then the 2018 film called The War of Tomorrow, featuring Chris Pratt. Tomorrow's War, I think, featuring Chris Pratt. I really like that. That's the whole time travel thing again, from a different perspective. So yeah, that's really good film. And then, as I mentioned before, the YouTube channel by Rabbi Friedman, and there are two of his clips at the moment: the Soul and the Afterlife. Where do we go from here? And here's what nobody told you about Adam and Eve. I really like that, and also gave me some kind of set some stuff in motion there on ways I can go with this, with my idea, my novel, or ways of expressing what I'm trying to say in a different way, in a way that explains it the way I want it to be explained, kind of thing. So I decided to help me stay accountable to my writing and getting this done. I'm going to put some plans for next week. So for next week, I plan to try and complete at least 1 to 3 chapters by the end of next week. So that's my plan. So next week, hopefully to do 1 to 3 chapters next week. I might do more, but so far because I'm trying to still get then a number of things I've started doing, and also with work and stuff. So I'm trying to set my routine. Hopefully once it's fixed and stable, then it's all plain sailing from here. And I also want to be able to write at least 1 short story and 1 flash fiction, and maybe a poem if I feel romantic. You never know. Or Valentine's not that far away, so I might feel romantic, or I could be trying to channel my inner villain. You never know. So I would try and work. I'm trying to get my head into that zone of trying to think what I would do if I was a villain. Maybe embrace my darker side. Yes, trying to embrace my darker side. But I don't know. We'll see how it goes, and I will let you know. But for now, yeah. Well, that's it for today, and thanks for stopping by, and hopefully see you next week. Bye.